This video is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc. If you're looking for cards in the US, look no further as you can use the promo code MTGMudsta to get you 5% off anything on the site. You can also use the promo code MTGMudsta for 5% off your orders from Face-to-Face Games, Canada's largest Magic the Gathering store, with qualified orders getting free shipping Canada-wide. And if you just want to help out the channel, you can always consider becoming a patron for as little as $1 a month and join the generic Goblin Gang. Hey gang, I just wanted to let you know that for the next month, I've teamed up with the awesome crew over at cardtrader.com. What is CardTrader, you're asking? It's an online marketplace where individuals and stores around the world can list their cards for sale. Chances are if you're looking for it, they've got it. With an easy to navigate and user-friendly web space, you'll be able to find what you need in no time. Plus, they offer an amazing service called CardTrader Zero, which makes getting your cards from various countries even simpler. For example, I can order a Breeding Pool from Italy, a Dark Ritual from Finland, and a Reanimate from the UK. They're all then sent to a central hub nearest you for only a small fee, packaged all together, and then shipped your way in one easy shipment. They've also got an optimized shopper to help you find the best possible prices on the card you want. Simply put, if you want to save yourself a headache, use CardTrader. It lets you support local game stores across Europe, save on cards, and save on shipping. If you're interested in checking it out, be sure to sign up with my referral code shown here and in the video description below. Hey gang, and welcome back. Today's game is another Multizone matchup, and I'm playing my Vial Smasher and Tymna deck, keeping Temple of Triumph, Bojuka Bog, Nightmare in Making, Talisman of Hierarchy, Mountain, and Night's Whisper. My buddy Kevin is playing his Klothys deck, keeping Vandal Blast, Forest, Miri's Guile, Neheb the Eternal, Utopia Sprawl, and Subterranean Tremors. New to the channel is Jeff playing his 4-color Omnath deck, keeping Stomping Grounds, Dark Depths, Selesnya Sanctuary, Command Tower, Titania Protector of Argoth, Tatiova Benthic Druid, and a Rampaging Baloths. Marie has rejoined us playing her Tymna and Ikra deck, keeping a Plains, Sunscorch Regent, Monologue Tax, Accomplished Alchemist, Swamp, Forest, and an Isolated Chapel. Marie wins the die roll and starts us off. She draws for turn and plays a Forest. I play a Temple of Triumph, scrying 1 and bottoming it. Kevin plays a Forest and casts Miri's Guile. Jeff just plays a Forest. Marie plays a Plains and passes. I play a Mountain and cast Talisman of Hierarchy. Kevin uses Miri's Guile in his upkeep to rearrange his top 3 and then draws. He plays a tapped Temple of Abandon and scries 1, putting to the bottom, and then casts Utopia Sprawl, enchanting his Forest and naming red. Jeff just plays a tapped Stomping Grounds. Marie plays an Isolated Chapel and casts one of her 2 commanders, Tymna the Weaver. I play a Plains for turn and then take a damage from the Talisman to help cast my own copy of Tymna and pass to Kevin. Kevin once more rearranges his top 3 and then draws, playing Enchantress's Presence and passing to Jeff. Jeff plays a Command Tower and casts a Ramunap Excavator. Marie plays a Swamp for turn and moves to combat, swinging at Kevin for 2 with Tymna. She gains 2 and pays 1 life in her second main phase to Tymna's ability to draw a card. She then casts a Monologue Tax. For my turn, I continue to copy Marie, swinging Tymna at Kevin, dealing 2 and gaining 2. I then pay 1 to draw 1 in my Postcombat main phase and play a tap Bojuka Bog. I then lose another life from the Talisman to help cast Night's Whisper, losing a total of 3 life to draw 2 more cards. Kevin casts a Wild Growth, enchanting his Temple, and draws from the Enchantress's Presence. He then casts a Sanctum Weaver and gets to draw again, but still doesn't find a land and has to pass. Jeff casts Rada, Heart of Keld, and then plays a Selesnya Sanctuary, bouncing a land back to his hand. He then moves to combat, and the Excavator goes at Marie for 2. Marie plays a Swamp for turn and casts a Sunscorch Regent. Moving to combat, this time she swings Tymna at me, dealing 2, gaining 2, and then in her Postcombat main phase, losing 1 to draw a card. I play a land for turn and cast Soul Ring, which puts a +1/+1 counter onto the dragon and gains Marie 1 life. Moving to combat, Tymna goes at Kevin, dealing 2, gaining 2, and then I lose 1 and draw a card. Kevin uses Guile again, quickly rearranging his top cards to draw a land. He plays a mountain for turn, and then casts Klothys, God of Destiny, putting another counter into the Regent and gaining Marie another life. Kevin also gets to draw a card from the presence, and he then taps the Weaver to help cast Chandra, Awakened Inferno, giving each of his opponents an emblem that'll deal 1 damage to them on their upkeep. The Regent also gains another counter, and Marie gains 1 more life. Jeff takes 1 from the Chandra emblem, and plays and cracks a Fabled Passage. He then casts Titania, Protector of Argoth, returning the passage to field, and putting another counter onto the Regent, with Marie gaining 1 more life. Moving to combat, he swings what he can at me, and I take 5. Marie takes 1 from the Chandra emblem, and plays a land for turn, and then pays 4 to cast Return to Dust, exiling Klothys and Marie's Guile. She then casts a Soul's Attendant, and moving to combat, swings the Regent at Chandra, and Tymna at Kevin for 2. She gains 2 as her commander connects, and in her post-combat main phase, pays the 1 and draws a card. I take 1 on my upkeep from the emblem, and play a Sacred Foundry tapped, and then cast a Talisman of Indulgence, putting the Regent to 7 +1/+1 counters, and Marie gains another life. I then swing my copy of Tymna at Kevin because it seems to be working so well, who takes another 2, and I gain 2, and then lose 1 to draw a card. Kevin plays a land for turn, and casts Subterranean Tremors, where X is 8. I counter it with a Lapse of Certainty, and Marie gains her 2 life, and Kevin passes. Jeff draws, and plays his commander Omnath, drawing a card as it enters, which has Marie gaining 1 from casting it, and 1 from it entering. He then plays and cracks a Fabled Passage, getting a token from Titania, and gains 4 life. Moving to combat, he swings the team at Marie, who chumps the brunt of it, but still takes 7. Marie takes 1 from the emblem, and then pays 5 to cast her other commander, Ikra the Usurper. Moving to combat, she swings Tymna at me for 2, and the Regent at Jeff, gaining a total of 15 life, and then pays 1 in her post-combat main phase to draw. I lose another 1 to the emblem, untap, and cast Painful Truths, losing 3 more and drawing 3. This has Marie gaining a life, and the Regent gaining a counter. I then play a land for turn, and cast Rakdos Charm and Thematic Compass. I then pass turn, transforming the compass, as Marie adds more counters and gains 2 more life to her Regent. Kevin casts a Pyrostatic Pillar, and Marie continues to gain life and counters. He then recasts Klothys, and a Valakut Exploration, and Marie adds the appropriate amount. Jeff takes 1 from the Chandra emblem, and then taps out to cast a Rampaging Baloths. He then plays a Thespian Stage, a Beast token, and gaining 4 life from Omnath. Marie loses 1 from her emblem, and she plays a land, and then casts Cultivate. She finds a forest to put into play tapped, and a swamp to hand. She then casts Exquisite Blood, which means every instance of Chandra's emblem that I and Jeff take will now have her gaining more life, and she moves to combat. She swings both the Regent and Ikra at Kevin, and I use Spires of Araska to remove the now 18/18 Regent from combat. Kevin does take 3, while Marie gains 7, plus another 3 from Kevin losing 3 life. She then loses 1 to Tymna's ability to draw a card. I lose 1 from the emblem, and Marie gains 1, and I draw and pass. Kevin untaps and uses Klothys' ability to exile Memory Lapse from my graveyard, dealing 2 to each of his opponents and gaining 2, which actually has Marie gaining 4 life because me and Jeff lose 2 life each. Kevin then casts Neheb the Eternal and Chandra Torture of Defiance. Marie continues to gain life, and the Regent gains more counters. He then moves through combat to his second main phase, adding 6 mana to his pool thanks to Neheb, and casts Fiery Emancipation. He then upchicks Chandra, and exiles the Dryad of Elysian Grove. Choosing not to cast it, each opponent takes 6. He then casts a Subterranean Tremors where X is 3, which in response, Marie casts Nature's Claim to take out the Fiery Emancipation. This has Kevin gaining 4 life, and all creatures then take 3, wiping out both Tymna's, the Excavator, Titania, the Elemental, and Rada. Jeff takes 1 from the emblem, which has Marie gaining 1. He then plays a Windswept Heath as his land for turn, cracking it and losing 1, and Marie gains 1, and he makes a total of 2 Beast tokens after his Temple Garden comes into play tapped. This gains him 4 life from Omnath, and generates him white, blue, red, and green. He's then able to cast a Tatyova Benthic Druid and Bloom Tender, and Marie gains more life and her region gets bigger. Marie untaps and takes one from the emblem, and then draws. Paying 3, she casts a Grim Tutor, losing 3 life, and goes to find a card to put to hand. She then casts a Ravenous Chupacabra, which takes out the Balos as it enters. She then casts Accomplished Alchemist and moves to combat. She swings Ikra at me, and then now 23-23 at Kevin. Before damage, I respond by casting Erebos' Intervention and targeting Ikra, putting it 7 into the X. Responding to that, Marie casts Fairy's Protection and phases out until her next turn. I lose 1 to the emblem, draw, and pass to Kevin. Kevin on his upkeep uses the Klothys trigger to exile Grim Tutor, having everyone but Marie take 2 while he gains 2. He then casts a Collector's Oof, and I float all of my artifact mana in response. He plays a Forest return, and then exiles a War's Toll off the exploration. He then casts a War's Toll, and follows up with a Roiling Vortex. He then upticks Chandra and hits a land, dealing 2 to the opponents that he can, and passes. Jeff loses 2 on his upkeep, and then plays a Strip Mine for turn, drawing a card and gaining 5 life thanks to Tatyova and Omnath. He then pays 12 total mana to cast an Angelic Accord and a Parallel Lives, and then makes his Thespian Stage a copy of my Spires of Erazka. Moving to his end step, because he has gained more than 4 life, he gets to make an Angel token, which is doubled thanks to Parallel Lives. Marie phases back in, loses 2 on her upkeep, and plays a land in her main phase. She makes 10 mana to cast a Rock's Faithmender, and follows up with a Noxious Gearhulk. The Hulk comes in and takes out Neheb, which would gain her life, but in response, Kevin activates the Roiling Vortex to prevent players from gaining life until end of turn. She then swings the Regent, Ikra, and Chupacabra at Kevin, and the Alchemist at me. Kevin can't block the Regent, and gets taken out, while I take the 2. I take 1 from the emblem on my upkeep, draw, and pass. Jeff also takes 1 from the emblem, and then casts a Scoot Swarm, and plays a land return, once more gaining 5, making 2 Scoot Swarm tokens, and drawing a card. Moving to combat, he swings all of his beasts and angels at Marie, who takes the full hit for 20. At the end of his turn, he makes 2 more angel tokens and passes. Marie takes 1 from the emblem, untaps, and goes to combat. She swings the Regent and Gearhulk at Jeff, and the rest of her creatures go at me. Jeff chumps the Regent with 1 of his angel tokens, and takes the Noxious Gearhulk hit, while I take everything. This has Jeff losing 5, and I lose 7. Because of the Exquisite Blood, Ikra, and the Rock's Faithmender, Marie actually gains 60 life. Moving to her second main phase, she then recasts Tymna and passes. I untap, take 1 from the emblem, draw, and then discard down to hand size as I pass. Jeff takes 1 from the Chandra emblem, and plays a Myriad Landscape which comes in tapped, making 6 Scoot Swarms, gaining 5 life, and drawing a card. He then swings the Angels and Beasts at Marie again, this time for 24. Moving to his end step, he makes 2 more Angel tokens. Marie takes 1 from the emblem, and goes to combat. She swings the Regent, Ikra, Chupacabra, and Tymna at me, and I respond before damage with Sudden Reversal. In response, Jeff untaps the Regent and removes it from combat. The reversal saves me, essentially keeping me at 1 life, while Marie gains a further 40 life thanks to the Rock's Faithmender doubling all the life Ikra Shadiq would do. She then casts the Sad Solemn, and goes to find a basic, passing. For my turn, I have really nothing to do except for die, since I could only play a Godless Shrine, and we move to Jeff's turn. Jeff takes 1 from the emblem as well, plays a land, and this time makes 18 more Scoots. He then cracks the landscape to go and find 2 basics to the field tapped, making 54 more Scoots, and then another 140 more Scoots after that. Marie takes 1 from the Chandra emblem, and then casts a Soul Ring. Moving to combat, she swings everything she can at Jeff, who uses the Spires to take the Regent out of combat, and blocks on everything with 1 of his million Scoot Swarm tokens. In her post-combat main phase, she loses 1 life to draw a card from Tymna, but staring at a board full of Scoots, realizes she doesn't have a chance, and scoops it up to Jeff. Game review time. So I think this game holds the records for the most number of life changes in one go. I'm pretty sure we missed some throughout the game, and I'm pretty sure I probably missed some in editing, but I did my best, and I hope we did too. I cannot believe how long that Sunscorch Regent lasted, and how much life Marie gained. We also didn't draw into any removal for it, which, considering Kevin was drawing so many cards from his Enchantress package, and I was drawing at least 2 cards per turn thanks to Tymna, is kind of surprising. I actually thought that when Marie cast that Grim Tutor, she was going to go and find Aetherflux Reservoir, but as we saw at the end of the game, it was on the bottom of her library, which was very sad for her since she could have used it to win at the game. That being said, it was sweet to see a giant Scoot Swarm win it for Jeff. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, Cool Stuff Inc., Original Magic Art, and Alter Sleeves. But it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.